Hello and welcome to our Automotive Diagnostic Tech Day. My name is Philipp Erber and I'm responsible at Vector Korea for our diagnostic flashing solutions. Today I will be talking about Vector's diagnostic scripting solutions. The topic of my session today is Vector Diagnostic Scripting, which is Vector's solution for intelligently creating diagnostic scripts to easily give you the possibility for extending diagnostic test possibilities or your diagnostic flashing using vFlash. So in my agenda, I want to use a quick introduction to what is diagnostic flashing in general, where can it be used. Then I will show how it fits in our Vector toolchain. This is just a very short presentation material today. And then afterwards, I will spend the majority of this session showing our tools, vFlash and Indigo, and how you can integrate our diagnostic solutions for this part. So what is the motivation behind of this? Why do we need diagnostic scripts? There are a very big number of use cases that are currently being applied with diagnostic scripting for our customers. For example, some customers want to use diagnostic scripts for applying calibration data or variant coding to the ECUs after reprogramming. This is one of the most common use cases. Also, you can use it for creating reports. Let's say you reprogram your ECU, the flashing is successful, and then you want to automatically write some information into a report file. For example, it was the software version 1 before, and now on this date, I have successfully reprogrammed software version 2. This is something that can be applied using pre- and post-flash custom actions. Another use case is some customers want to, after reprogramming the ECU, they directly send the command to their printer, what has been reprogrammed onto this ECU, and then they automatically make the label sticker that they can put onto the ECU, something like this. There's basically no limitation. This is completely written in C# code using our Vector Diagnostic Scripting API. So anything that is possible in C# can basically be done in our custom actions. In order to make diagnostic scripts successful, there are a couple of criteria that are crucial to the success of this procedure. It has to be reliable, which means if you make the script, you have to be able to count on this script will successfully work. This is only possible if there's an efficient way to create and maintain your diagnostic scripting. So we are trying to support the process of code creation as much as possible. How this can be done will be seen in the next slides. The first option is we use our Microsoft Visual Studio plugin for diagnostic script creation. Basically, you have your input data, your diagnostic database, either in ODX format or in Vector's Candela Studio CDD file. This is loaded into your plugin for Visual Studio, and then you are guided with our API to easily create different number of scripts that can be reused later on. Either it can be used in custom actions for vFlash. The second option is we make our diagnostic scripts for Indigo, which will also be shown today. But it's also possible to use this script in other applications that are not directly connected to the diagnostic part here in flashing and diagnostic tester Indigo, but it can be used to extend your Canoe or Canapé or even vConnect later on. So the first way, as I mentioned, use the plugin in Visual Studio for creating your diagnostic scripts. That's the first way. The second one is we try to limit the programming effort as much as possible. The input is still the same. It's still starting with our diagnostic database CDD or ODX file. But then you simply click in the Indigo GUI to use the script recorder and record your diagnostic requests simply by clicking. There's no manual code creation in this part. And then Indigo creates the code for you that can be later used either for custom actions in vFlash or for Indigo. And later on, you can also transfer this data on your VN8810 standalone device. The device would be able to execute your diagnostic scripts. For example, read some parameters, write some parameters, create a log file, something like this. This can be done by our VN8810. So the complete toolchain is always database file, either only script recorder or some small editing yourself in Visual Studio for creating Indigo pack or custom action, depending on the use case for diagnostic tester or vFlash, and then at the last step into the VN8810 standalone device. So that's the overview for now. Let's go to our tool demonstration part, where I would like to show all of this directly in practice. We will start by using vFlash and then go on to use Indigo with the script recorder. So as the first part of our tool demonstration, let's start by opening up vFlash. And then we will have a look at our examples folder in vFlash that already provides pre-configured diagnostic scripts that you can directly use to get started with your own project. In this case, you go to Tips and Resources, and then you can open the examples folder. In this examples folder, there are already pre-configured custom actions available. So new custom action, what we will be looking at today is called simple reporting. And simple reporting already includes all the code necessary for creating the most basic report after your ECU is updated using vFlash. Let's bring it to the other screen. This is basically how the very simple code looks like. We are starting just by the first part, getting the ECU information from the CDD file that is referenced in vFlash. We will later show how this is done, but first we say get your ECU from the CDD file that is referenced. Then the second step, you read the serial number information from the ECU by creating the diagnostic request and then sending the request and then storing the information that you get. This is not important to understand every single step here in the script directly right now. It is always the same structure, and we will get used to this very shortly. Just an overview. Get the ECU from your CDD. Using the qualifier for this request that is defined in the CDD, send the request, and then the last step, write it to the report. In this report, we say get default path, and this path is basically defined in the GUI of vFlash itself. So what we are going to do, after we have this example, we build this solution. And this solution is now used for our script in vFlash. So you have your script created here. Let's move it outside to our folder of today's session. This folder now has our script that we just created. It also has the CDD file that we will be using. And we make an empty report here. This is from the test yesterday. Let's make it all empty. Okay. And this path here can be directly selected in vFlash. This is what we're going to do now. So we open up a new demonstration. We have no hardware, so we use this simulation. And then we just open up our demo project. How is it possible to configure custom action? First of all, the normal flashing can be executed with the imitator. We start with programming, we download our software, and flashing is done. Now we would like to extend this flashing sequence by using a custom action. So we go to Configure, Custom Actions, and this custom action needs to be activated. Now the very first step, since we referenced the qualifiers from a CDD, of course we need to define the CDD file for our vFlash pack here. So we simply open, and then we go to our CDD file that was used. Then we have to define pre-flash or post-flash. When would we like to read the ECU information and write it to the text file? In our case, let's just do it before reprogramming. We've copied. Let's use the one on the desktop. This one. And now we say pre-flash. This is executed before flashing. You can also do it after flashing, and this checkbox allows even if flashing fails, you still want to make it after the flashing. But in our case, let's use pre-flash. Now, where is this report saved? Under Tools, Options, Reporting, we say Enable Reporting, and then now here, I define the path to my text file that I just have, my report.txt. All is configured. I click Reprogram, and then you can see Start Communication, and the very first thing, before we even start to reprogram, we execute our pre-flash custom action. This is done here. And as you can see in the trace, the very first step is now read the serial number. The serial number is the one from our custom action, and this information is used to write the report right now. It has the current date and time, and the serial number is 0. That is the value we received from our ECU during the pre-flash custom action. So you see, by using our vector examples, you can easily switch these requests to apply to your specific need and make your own custom actions that extend your flashing sequences. This is the way of manually creating the custom action in the editor in Visual Studio. And as a first step, this is very good for beginning with vFlash. If you have very simple custom actions, if the sequences get longer, we are trying to find a better way to easily create long sequences. This will be done by Indigo, which will be the content of our next tool demonstration. So let's close Visual Studio. We close vFlash. No need to save. And then we simply open up Indigo. This is all done for now. Let's open up the tool. On the second monitor. Sometimes it takes a moment to load on this laptop. Okay. And Indigo is started. What we will do now is we start again opening the simulation. And then Indigo already is delivered with some demo projects. Let's open this up right now. And then we can see what scripts we already have available in this solution. We click Connect. And then this is the demonstration that is already delivered. If you have Indigo, you already have all of this demo material available. Right now it's a bit hectic in the trace. There's a lot of traffic. So let's disable some of the refresh parts here. Okay. Now it's more quiet in the trace. Just some. Okay. Just some diagnostic tests that this is okay. So in the diagnostic console, if you're not familiar with Indigo, the diagnostic console is the part that you need for sending your diagnostic requests manually. For example, we say extended session, and then your request 1003 for starting a diagnostic session is sent to the ECU. You can then say, I want to read vehicle information, and then here you get your response from Indigo. In case you don't want to always click the step, if it is a longer test sequence, manually here in the console, then you can create a diagnostic script. Predefined diagnostic scripts, for example, for reading this information can be found in this example. Display win. So you can execute the script, and then you can see in the trace, it sends the request and displays the information that we received. This is the very simple one now. You can use it for reading information. You can also have a script for writing information. In this case, it says the win has to have 17 characters. So we make this new one with the 3 in the end. We say update this, okay. And now when you execute the script for reading the win again, it's our new one. So the information is actually transmitted to the ECU and can be read again. Those are very simple tests now for creating diagnostic scripts. You can also have more and more complicated ones, as we will see later on. But now, just to get started, I would like to show how I can easily create my own diagnostic script using the script runner for execution. So what we do now, instead of opening Visual Studio for creating this example myself, what I do, I go to Manage Scripts and then create using the script recorder. We will make the very easy one. We will start the extended session. So I simply click, switching extended session, and you can see recorded request, extended session start. Then we go to identification. And what we want to read is, let's say we read the software version, double click, software version 001. And later on, we want to output this information. We have additional predefined functions, for example, security access, enable tester present, and so on. What we would like is the confirmation dialog. The title is software version. The content is my software version is. Currently, we don't know the software version. We have the button, just OK. And this is an information. OK. So this script already can be used in our script runner. Would you like to save the script? Yes. This is called software version. Read. Would you like to rework the script in the editor? Yes, in one moment we would like to see the script itself. But for now, what we are most interested in is execute it directly without any further changes. So what we are doing is, where's my software version read? Here, read software version. And when I execute it, it says the pop-up window, my software version is unknown. And you can see in the trace the request for reading the software version. Now what we need to do is we need to match those two informations. We need to take this parameter that we received right here, and we have to put it into the output box that we also created. So we open Visual Studio with the script that we just made. And as you can see, the parts are very simple. The first one again, get the ECU information from the CDD referenced in Indigo. If we find the CDD information, then we go to the next step. In this step, we start the extended session. We read the information, and then in my response, there's the parameter software version. So we need to use this parameter now. This here has the information that I received from my target ECU. Let's move this up to put it together. And then this is my output. This is the confirmation dialog. We say my software version is. And instead of these question marks, now I would like to have actually this value. So this is the whole programming we need to do right now for this small example using the script recorder. Of course, you can make more and more complicated scripts, but a very easy example would look like this. My software version is, and then plus, let's make not any typos, so we just copy this name, and then this parameter, software version. We save the script, Go back. And now it works. Reading software version. It directly contains the information that we just configured. So this is the most basic example that you can think of. You can make your own diagnostic sequences. You make your own scripts for extending Indigo to use things that you would usually do manually and combine it to one predefined script. For one request, it doesn't really make much sense, but you can combine a lot of reading information and then display it in whatever way you want to. The most simple way is the script runner. But what I would also like to show today is our Indigo customized view. So you can go to Manage Windows. In Manage Windows, this is a bit crowded. Let's remove some of the information. And then we add, and this is the VK for Vector Career customized view. This is something that I created in order to show our new feature for Indigo customized view. What is this? Basically, you have your predefined views for the fault memory, diagnostic console, and so on. And then with this new feature, it is possible for you to create basically your own content in Indigo. We have tester name. Tester name today is Philip. The ECU name is my ECU, and my project is called my demo project. Afterwards, I can execute predefined tests in a fixed test scenario. I also have some additions. Here, for example, I have issue information. Then I click the button, and we are able to directly display some predefined information. In this case, the VIN, there's a part number, software version, serial number, and this can be executed. And then on the trace, you see the diagnostic requests are sent. What is more interesting usually is create whole test scenarios. For example, I made some test cases for reading information and for some I/O controls and so on. And in the end, I want to create the report. So let's just start the test. Test execution has been started. You have the progress bar with how the test is currently going. We have executed the reading part of our test. We have read some ECU information, and this was the result. As the next step, we want to test if writing also works. For writing, it is necessary to unlock the ECU. Here you see 2701. Unlock successful. Here 270102. Our ECU is unlocked, and then we want to write the ECU information. So 17 characters. Right? And then afterwards, of course, we need to check if the value has been written successfully to our target ECU. The next test would be some I/O control. Basically, you control brake switch, parking brake, rear gear switch. Okay? And then you overwrite those values. And then you reset it again. All of this can always be monitored, either in my customized trace here or in the standard Indigo diagnostic trace. At the end of the test, it's always important to check the DTC information, and then usually you want to reset DTCs and see there's no DTCs left. So now my test has finished. Those were 15 tests that I have created using the script recorder and some manual manual scripting. And then I have executed a test. I know the test result, but of course I would like to share and document my test result. So I click on Create Report, Automotive Test Day. And now what we are doing here is, where's the report? The report contains my ECU name, contains the date, the project name, and it's in XML format. You can since this is only C# code, you can create whatever report format you want. I think XML is not bad because you can directly, easily re-import it later if you want to use in some automated process for importing all this data again. So let's see what we received during our test. That's basically my test result. You read some information, you write some information, you have some I/O controls, and then the DTC part in the end. So the purpose was basically you have your own GUI option where you can configure your own parameters. You have some ECU identification features where you have predefined small scripts. You can make larger test scenarios and display this information in any kind you want to display. This is the feature of customized views. This has been done in customer projects before. We create this view based on customer requirements, or you can create these views by yourself. If you have questions regarding any of these topics, either regarding custom actions in vFlash, creating something with the script recorder, or customized views, please feel free to contact us anytime. I'll gladly take some time and we go over this topic together to discuss your direct needs for this feature and what is the best solution for this request. Thank you very much for your attention. And of course, we're available now directly after this session for some questions in case there's some open issues that you would like more information about. Thank you very much and have fun with the next session. Thank you.